Hello everyone, how's it going? Swati and Vinayak from the Jam Club. In this video, we are going to talk about 5 peated Isla whiskies to try in India. And we'll kickstart with one of our favorites, Ardbeg Distillery. Now the first one here is the Wee Beastie, which, as the name suggests, is a small beast. It's the youngest whiskey in the lineup, a 5-year-old. Now here's something interesting about the Ardbeg Distillery. In 2022, a cask of Ardbeg was sold for 16 million pounds. That's twice the amount that Glenmorangie paid for Ardbeg and its entire stock. So that tells you a bit about the cult status of this distillery. Now, over to the whiskey, the Wee Beastie. Youngest age statement in Ardbeg's lineup. It's a fantastic whiskey. On the nose, you get the classic Isla peat with hint of citrus. It's almost like ashy. So if you like, and obviously this one is not as refined as the Ardbeg 10, but on its own, it's a beautiful whiskey. Lately, it has become a personal favorite of mine for the value that it offers for the price. And you know, when I first tried Wee Beastie, for me, it was like if Lafroig 10 and Lagavulin 16 were to mate and produce a baby, it would be the Wee Beastie. So it gets that peatiness, medicinal peatiness that Lafroig has, along with the sherry influence that you get in the Lagavulin 16.
But isn't it like the younger whiskies have a more peat influence as compared to the older whiskies? So this one would have more peat influence as compared to the Ardbeg 10?
Of course. So the ppm or the peatiness will be much higher in the younger whiskey because with age, the peat levels in the whiskey as the barrels mature, so drops down. So hence also for a younger whiskey, you will get that more raw as well as that intense peaty notes on it. So
the next whiskey is Kilchoman Machir Bay. Kilmanan is actually one of the youngest distilleries in Isla, and this whiskey was one of their first releases. It's a marriage of with malts from ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks. It's got this warm smoke on the nose, but it's got a lot of citrus notes to it.
I'm getting a bit of pear and floral note as well.
Yes.
It's almost like a zesty peat. It's not like your, like the tar or soot that you get.
Yeah, it's very mellow.
Yeah, Kilchoman was the first distillery that opened on Isla after a good 124 years. So the first distillery that opened on Isla was Bowmore in 1779. And now you also have, I think, 2018, Ardnaho opened up.
So yeah, I think from the nose, even if you go to the palate, again that fresh citrusy notes carry through. There's very mild smoke, but there's a lot of pepper that you kind of get on the palate. So I think it's a very good buy for someone who's wanting to venture into peated whiskies and doesn't want to really get into heavily peated ones.
Yeah. In fact, Kilchoman is what you can call a craft distillery because they have their own farming. They do like everything, like from farming to the bottling is done at the small distillery that we visited, right, in 2019.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's about Kilchoman Machir Bay, a non-age statement peated Isla whiskey. Next one, we move to Kolilla, which by production is the biggest distillery on Isla. You don't see much of Kolilla around because about 90% of Kolilla goes into, guess what?
Blue label?
Black label and double black. And if you sort of nose the whiskey, you get that nice grass. It's not very peated.
Yeah.
It's a very, I think, you get that nice herbaceous note to it as well. So anyone who wants to start their peated whiskey journey, I think Kolilla makes for a great buy. So now to the fourth whiskey on our list.
Yeah. The fourth one is actually a personal favorite. I can keep talking about it all night if I want to, but I will not. Lagavulin 16, I think it's by far, personally for me, the most complex and still the most well-balanced whiskey. Sherry and peat, two very, very polarizing flavors. but they come together in such beautiful harmony that you don't feel punched by either of them.
Yeah. Also something very interesting, both Kolilla and Lagavulin, their barley, the malted barley is exactly the same ppm. However, in spite of that, you get the peat more on Lagavulin and less on Kolilla because of the stills. So what do you get on the notes of Lagavulin 16?
So, a lot of dates and figs.
Some berries?
Yes, some berries. There is obviously that hint of smoke. And actually the first time when I nosed Lagavulin 16, the first instant reaction to it was, oh, it smells like Lifebuoy.
Yeah,
that's because of the phenols. So soaps use the same phenols that you sort of get from whiskies, and that's what my instant reaction was when I sort of nosed this whiskey.
For me, it's like honey glazed lamb that I'm getting on the note as well.
On the palate, of course, it's spicy. There's a lot of pepper, but again, you have those figs and dates.
Some berries and cinnamon.
Yeah, and there's like a hint of citrus zest, which would come from a sherry cask.
Right.
All in all, I think it's a beautiful whiskey for someone who has already started indulging into peated whiskies.
And now, last but definitely not the least on the list is Ardbeg 10. Ardbeg is a cult distillery. The following that Ardbeg has is unlike any other distillery that we have come across on our multiple trips to Scotland. And Ardbeg 10 has to be one of the most consistent whiskies from Islay. On the nose, you can expect some ash sort of a note. You get some citrus.
There's also some seaweed.
Yeah, there is seaweed, of course. I'm getting a bit of salted caramel as well.
You know what they say about the Ardbeg 10? That this whiskey is close to perfection.
Yeah, as close to perfection as it gets. Similar, Wow. So, I think I'm getting a bit of soapiness on this one as well. But overall, interesting whiskey. I mean, all 5 of them are good on their own. And yes, also we couldn't feature Lefroy tin because it's been out of stock in India. Otherwise, it should definitely make onto your list of peated whiskies from Islay to have in India.
And no Islay whiskey discussion can ever get over without a Lefroy. Unfortunately, we don't have it with us.
Or in India right now. So hence. That's it from us. Do let us know your favorite whiskies from Islay in the comments below. Until then, stay safe. Cheers.